Hey, this is Jim Katsoulis with another Program Yourself Thin weekly lesson. And this one is really important about learning from mistakes because anytime you're going to create change in your life, especially when it comes to your weight and your health, you're going to make mistakes. Okay, that's part of the process. And so learning how to deal with them is crucial. So we start with probably one of my favorite quotes ever. There's no failure, only feedback, by the creator of NLP, or the co-creator, Richard Bandler. And again, it's a mindset, right? That we're going to reframe mistakes we make. We're not going to define them as failure. We're going to take them as feedback so we can use that feedback to improve and to grow into the person we want to be. So the first thing I want to point out is that there is no perfection. And it's really important to understand this because in our culture, when it comes to weight loss, so often it's really, it's predicated on perfection, right? Because people, okay, that's it. I'm finally going to do it. And they pick these plans that are usually pretty intense and they want to get results fast. In order to do that, they have to be perfect. And so what ends up happening is over time, we start linking, okay, well, if I'm going to lose weight or if I'm going to be healthy, then I got to be perfect. Well, there is no perfection, right? You can be perfect for the short term, for sure. You can have, runs of perfection without question. But as you expand your time frame, which is truly what we're here for, right? We don't just want to lose some weight. We want to master our weight. We want to master our health. And so when you're talking about long periods of time, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, you're going to make mistakes, right? And that's normal and that's natural. And so that being said, the number one skill that you really need to master is the ability to get back on track quickly, because again, there is no perfection. And so we're going to make mistakes. If we can get back on track quick, that's going to make all the difference in the world. I always joke around, in politics, they have this saying that it's not the crime, it's the cover up. It was the same thing with weight loss. It's not the binge, it's what you do after it, right? And so, again, even if we make a mistake with our eating, if we get right back on track, that's not going to matter, okay? So that's the mindset you want to have. And saying that, again, when we expand the time frame, when we understand this isn't about being perfect, this is about learning how to be the person who we want to be. And so a lot of times weight loss is not really thought of as a learning process, right? We tend to think of it almost like memorization in school. Like, just give me the plan and I'll just follow it. But that's not going to work long term. You need to make the plan your own, right? You need to adapt it to your own lifestyle. And so the process that I suggest is when you make mistakes, they're our greatest opportunity to learn and to grow, okay? And so I want you to recognize that. This isn't something you can just be given a plan and just stick to it. It doesn't really work that way long term. We need to learn how to be that person. And so that being said, don't be afraid or discouraged by mistakes. And this is important because sometimes people are so worried in the back of their head when they start a plan about when they're going to screw up that they literally kind of make that screw up. They manifest it, to a certain degree. So we just want to let it go. You know what I mean? We know we're going to make mistakes, and that's actually a good thing, because again, as I said, I'm going to show you in a moment how to deal with them so you can learn and grow from them. So this process though, listen, our brains are hardwired over hundreds of thousands of years to crave certainty. That's why we love diet plans, right? Because they just tell us exactly what to do, right? And so there's no confusion there. We just do it. But again, it doesn't work out long term. So all of a sudden we start talking about, okay, well, I have to learn to be the person I want to be. That means you're going to go through some stages and some periods of confusion, right? Figuring this out. Sometimes you're not going to be sure what to do, or you're going to be frustrated about how to motivate yourself, or whatever it may be. But that confusion is normal and natural in the learning process. If you think about something you've learned in your life, like truly learned, reading, writing, walking, driving a car, using a computer mouse, it's confusing at first, but you get through that and you get to the other side and you learn something. Okay, and it's the same thing here. And with mistakes, it's very important that we learn to learn from them because that is how we give up pain. Okay, so the mind always gives up pain for learning. The classic example of this is if you touch a stove that's hot, you touch it once and yeah, it hurts, but you learn something from it. So you don't have a fear. You're not scared of the oven all the time. You're not fearful of it. You learn, I'll just check it first. And as soon as you understand that and you learn that, the fear disappears, okay, because you understand. So again, we're going to learn from our mistakes so that we can let go of that pain. And finally, most behavior is unconscious, and just becoming aware of it is a success. We run on autopilot. That's how our mind has been wired. So a lot of times we're not even aware of our behaviors. And so when you're looking to change, listen, when you want to change your weight, it's a very complex process. Right? There's a lot of stuff going on. Well, so I just got to eat better. Well, you eat, 3 to 6 times a day. every day. And each eating decision you make is dependent on your moods, your thinking, your location, your relationships, your energy levels, and on and on. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. And I don't say this to scare you, but to give you a more accurate understanding of what's at stake here. You know what I mean? It's like you go to college to get a degree. There's no ideas that you can do it in a week or a month or 2 months, right? We understand, okay, this is a long-term commitment. That's how you should approach your weight loss as well. Approach as a long-term commitment, dedicate yourself to it, and master it. So you never have to think about it again. Okay. So most behavior is unconscious. And so when we make mistakes, it's really an opportunity to become aware of some of the behaviors that we need to change. And I'm going to take you through how to do that. So some simple ways to get back on track quickly. The idea here is that a lot of times people are all or nothing. And so they're all eating perfectly. And then all of a sudden they kind of make a mistake and they feel like, oh, I fell off the wagon. I'm totally off track here. We have to stop that, right? Because the pattern for a lot of people is, okay, a week I was perfect, then I screwed up, and then, a couple months went by, and then I got back on track and I was great for 2 weeks, and then a couple months went by. So we got to stop doing that. And the way to do that is to realize it's not just about eating and exercising, right? Those are the two main things that influence your weight, but a lot of it's mindset wise. And so even when you overeat something, drink some water afterwards. It's not so much what it's going to do for you physically, although it'll help you feel better. It's psychologically, it makes you feel like, okay, well, I'm back in the game. I screwed up, but okay, I'm back on track. So we want to get that feeling of being back on track as fast as we can. And so we want to use simple things to do it. Sleeping. What's easier than just getting a little extra sleep, right? So literally you could overeat and take a nap, allow your body to kind of recover, go to bed a little bit earlier that night. That can be helpful. Going for a walk, right? It's kind of walking it off. Again, it's helpful, and make it a bigger deal in your mind. Make it so, okay, I screwed up there, but I'm back on track here. That's what we're looking for, is that shift, in how we're thinking about it. Eating less the next meal. This is a great one. And again, it's just simple. It's just a little like, it's a symbol that you're back on track. Okay. And so there's more things than this, I'm sure, but these are some simple ones to do just to make it feel like you're back on track. When you make a mistake, remember that's still in your imagination. This is important because a lot of times when people make a mistake, they just keep beating themselves up about it, right? And I mean, I work with people, it's like literally they'll be still holding on to something they did a week or two ago. I blew it, I ate too much. We got to let it go, okay? We make a mistake, and we want to realize that once we make the mistake, after that, when we're thinking about it, it's just in our imagination. And we don't want to keep thinking about it, right? Because understand this, every time you replay the mistake, you're training yourself to do it again, right? Let me explain what I mean here before I get to this part. It's kind of like if I tell you, don't think about a banana, right? You say, oh, okay, well, then you're thinking about a banana. So it's like every time you make a mistake, you're saying, okay, I wish I didn't do that. But you're still thinking about yourself doing it. And so it's like you keep replaying it. Right? It's like if there was a movie you didn't like, but you keep thinking about it. So we don't want to do that because it just trains you to do the same thing in the future. And again, when we talk about making mistakes, this goes back to the idea this is a learning process, and no one can just give you the perfect plan for you. Right? You're a unique individual. You got a unique lifestyle and preferences and genetics and all the rest of it. So you need to experiment and tweak your lifestyle to make it work for you. Okay. And so when we make mistakes, it's an opportunity to say, okay, what could I have done differently? And like I said, I'm going to take you through a process that will help you do that. But before we get to that, this is kind of the foundational understanding that this is a process of trying different things out and finding what works for us. And again, your best opportunity to learn is when you make a mistake. And so let me share with you a specific technique of how to do that. This is what I want you to do when you make a mistake. Instead of kind of holding it with yourself and beating yourself up about it, we let it go and we learn from it. And we use it as an opportunity to train ourselves and our mind to do the right thing. So what I would like you to do is think of a situation where you weren't happy with your eating. Okay, and it could be something, ideally it's within the last week. Is there anything you did when you weren't happy with how you eat? And what I want you to do is make a movie of it. So theater of the mind is real simple. You imagine you're in a theater and you're looking up at a big screen. Okay. And so what you can do is you can watch your memories on it. And so you can make a movie of it. And when you do that, you want this to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so this is how it works. Imagine that I wasn't happy. Lunch yesterday, I meant to get something healthy, but instead I went and got, pizza, fries, and a soda. And so the middle is the action, right? So say I went to the restaurant and did that. And so the middle would be me ordering that, me eating it, and that's the middle. The beginning would be like 15 minutes, 20 minutes before I got to the restaurant. The end would be 15, 20 minutes after I left the restaurant. Okay, and so the middle is the action you don't like, and then there's about 15 minutes to a half hour before and after that we're going to play. And so what I want you to do now is just kind of replay that in your mind. So if you take a moment, all right, so I'm imagining I'm going into yesterday, and it's like, okay, I was at the office, and things were kind of stressful, and I said, okay, let's go out to lunch. We got to lunch. I went there and got the burger. So I'm running through my mind. And now what you want to do is when you get to the end of it, you want to rewind the whole thing. And this is a really important part, so don't skip it. It's very quick. All you're doing is just imagine everything going backwards. So if people are talking, food's coming out of your mouth and all the way to the beginning. Now, I mixed these two up here. What I want you to do is you're pausing at the beginning of the movie. And this is the key point. A lot of times when we make a mistake with our eating, we say, oh, I'm never going to do that again. Okay. But we never teach ourselves what to do. Okay. And so we just say, I wouldn't have done that. And so what we want to do is we go back in time saying, knowing what you know now, not only what would you have done differently, but how would you like to have felt different? So again, I should have switched these two up because we want to know what state we would have been in that would have allowed us to do the right behavior. Remember, all of our behaviors flow out of our state. So when I overeat at lunch or choose the wrong thing, it's not enough just to say, oh, I just would have done something different. Well, you wouldn't have, because in that state, you're always going to choose, whatever the unhealthy thing. So we want to get into the right state. So if I did this, I'm just gonna give you an example. Say I go back in time and I say, well, I wish I felt more relaxed and more calm. I was stressed out. Work was getting tense and I had a lot of work that was dumped on me and I was just kind of freaking out. And so now I kind of go into it and I like to imagine like I got a big dial from 0 to 100. And as I crank that dial up, I can imagine myself and me in the movie feeling this deep, deep sense of calm. Right? And so I kind of crank it up in 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Whew. All right. And so my whole physiology has changed now. And I'm looking at myself, imagine myself looking at the screen. I could see myself. I'm totally, totally relaxed. And even me on the screen is like, oh, my shoulders dropped. I can tell my face looks more relaxed. I'm more calm. And so, yeah, great. That's how I would like to have felt. And now what I do is I replay the movie. Okay, I replay the movie with the new state. And so now imagine myself, I'm going out to the same restaurant, but now I'm calm. I walk in there more relaxed. I look at the menu. I want to eat something healthy, right? Because, again, I want to energize myself so I can go back to work and get that work done. I'm feeling completely different. And so then I imagine myself, ordering something healthy, eating it, leaving, and then I'm going back to work. Boom, that's my new movie. And so when you do this is so key, because what you're doing is you're training your mind to think, act, and respond in a new way. This is the most effective way to change your behaviors. And this is why mistakes aren't really a big deal. Because if you do this every time you make a food mistake, after a very short period of time, what you do is you're training yourself what you actually want to do. To just say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, does not teach you anything, right? You're not putting anything new into your mind. When I imagine myself in that new movie, and this is why paying attention to your thoughts, your internal dialogue, and your behaviors. In the new movie, I'm saying to myself, okay, I need to relax. Let me let go of that stress from work. How do I want to deal with this? I want to fuel my body, right? So I can deal with, this extra work I have to do. I love feeling healthy. I want to go back and have some energy. So again, I'm a different version of myself in this new movie. And I act, accordingly. And I like that. And so, this is so powerful. I really, and by the way, just me telling you and you being like, yeah, you've got to try it. Okay. It's kind of like me telling you about a movie and you actually seeing it. They're two completely different things. But next time, or if you can think of a food mistake you made, something you weren't happy with, this is a great way of doing it, because you're identifying it's the state change that's the key thing you want to do, and the behaviors flow out of that. And so next time you get in a situation like that, right? So now, again, there's going to be more stress at work, but now all of a sudden I realize, okay, the problem was that I got real stressed and I need to let go of that. That's the real problem. And if I can do that without food, then I'm going to tend to naturally make better food choices anyways. Okay. So this is how you kind of get yourself into, this is like practicing, training yourself to be the person you want to be. And it starts from the inside out. Okay. It wouldn't be enough for me to say, okay, well, let me go back in time and I'm stressing out. I'm freaking out. Get a freaking boss. He's telling me this and whatever. Okay. Let me just get the salad. That's not going to happen. right? Because when you're in that state of frustration and anger and tension, we tend to make unhealthier choices. We think differently. So the real secret is not how we're behaving, right? That's kind of the ultimate outcome we want. But the real secret to changing it is by shifting your state, okay? And you're going to realize that a lot of times what you're looking for with the unhealthy eating behaviors are almost always you're looking for a state change, right? You're tired from work, you're stressed out, and you're looking to relax. And that's what you assign the food to, right? That's what you feel like you need the food for. You don't need the food for that. You can relax without the food. And so when you can separate the unhealthy eating from the state changes, and you can get the state changes naturally in a different way, it's a lot easier to deal with the food. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and it will if you do this, if you try this out. I think you'll understand what I mean. So I hope this helps you out. Again, mistakes are your best opportunities to learn and to grow and evolve into the person you want to be. So utilize them. Don't be worried about them. Expect them, look forward to them, and work through them. Learn from them. All right. So I hope this helps you out. Have a great week, and I'll see you next lesson. Hey, thank you for watching this training. I hope you enjoyed it and that you got a lot out of it. As a thank you, I want to offer you a gift to help you jumpstart your weight loss today. And it's a custom self-hypnosis session called The New Thin Me. And you can download it for free at programyourselfthin.com/session. And again, it's completely free. You'll go there, you'll answer a couple questions, and you will get a session that is customized to your situation to help you get fired up, to get motivated, to do the things you need to do to really get the body and the health that you truly desire and deserve. So again, I want to thank you, and you can get that session at programyourselfthin.com/session. Have a great day.